12 essential household items are becoming harder to find, and people who prepare carefully are stocking backups for 2026. Not because they have all stopped being made, and not because every shelf will be empty tomorrow morning. The change is happening quietly. Several options shrink to one. Then the exact type your family has always used is only available online or at a store farther away. One small item can determine whether an entire appliance or household task continues to work normally. This list is not meant to make you panic buy. It helps you recognize what needs to be checked early, what should only be backed up in reasonable amounts, and what should never be substituted carelessly. But it is slowly losing its place without anyone noticing. 12. Laundry soap bars. A woman in her 60s walks into the laundry aisle and looks for the exact spot she remembers. There used to be laundry soap bars there for treating collars, cuffs, or an oil stain before the clothes went into the washer. But today, that spot is not empty. Instead, it holds spray bottles, concentrated gels, stain remover pens, and more specialized formulas. Laundry soap bars still have one clear job: directly treating a small, stained area before washing. With the right type of fabric, and according to the manufacturer's instructions, the user wets the stained area, rubs a small amount onto the spot, then washes as usual. With delicate or color fastness-prone fabrics, it should be tested first on a hidden area. Its strength is its simplicity. No spray nozzle, measuring cup, or separate formula for every type of stain is needed. Because it is only used on a small area, one bar kept dry can last through many wash cycles, but that is exactly what puts it at a disadvantage on the shelf. A bar can sit in the home for a long time before the customer buys another one. Meanwhile, the same amount of display space can hold multiple sprays and gels in different sizes and at different price points. A product positioned at a low price, designed to last a long time, and offered in few versions therefore has a harder time competing for shelf space. At the time of checking, some packs of Fells naphtha on Walmart worked out to about $250 to $450 per bar, depending on the quantity and seller. Higher prices from third-party sellers do not prove that prices are rising across the entire market, but they do show that buying the exact product can cost more when local options are limited. The signal here is not yet a nationwide shortage across the United States. It is the risk of having fewer options in stores and needing to search more deliberately. In 2026 in Canada, Sunlight Pure Soap is one example. This long-standing product was reported to have been discontinued, forcing longtime users to find other options. But that case does not prove that all laundry soap bars in the United States are disappearing. If the type you usually buy is no longer on the shelf, the family can still use a spray, gel, or liquid detergent. What is being lost is not the ability to wash clothes, but a compact, long-lasting option that treats the exact stained area without requiring multiple specialized products. So if the family actually uses it, keeping a few backup bars makes sense. There is no need to buy an entire case. Laundry soap bars have not failed at cleaning. They are simply competing with products that are easier to see, easier to sell, and easier to expand across every inch of shelf space. And right nearby is an even older box of white powder, a product many people see today without knowing how it differs from baking soda. 11. Washing soda. A person stands in the laundry aisle, picks up a box of baking soda, then hesitates. Is this what they are looking for? No. Washing soda is a laundry booster. It is different from baking soda, different from borax, and it is not regular laundry detergent. But because the names sound fairly similar, many people easily confuse them or do not know exactly which product to look for. This is also a kind of scarcity that is very easy to overlook. Washing soda has not disappeared from the US market. But at some stores, shoppers may find very few options, while liquid detergent, laundry pods, and other laundry boosters take up more space. For people who still use washing soda regularly, that means they may have to check another store or order it online. The purpose of this product is fairly simple. According to Arm & Hammer's directions, washing soda is used with detergent to help with the cleaning process. It is not a complete replacement for powdered or liquid laundry detergent. For a regular load of laundry, the company recommends using about half a cup, along with the usual amount of detergent. For heavily soiled clothes, pre-soaking, or hard water, the directions may be different. So it is still best to read the instructions on the box before using it. Washing soda is also stronger than baking soda for certain laundry tasks, so the two products should not be treated as the same thing or substituted for each other without care. For safety, avoid getting the powder in your eyes, limit prolonged direct contact, and keep it away from children and pets. Washing soda should not be mixed with other cleaning products, except in ways directed by the manufacturer. As for price, at the time of checking, Walmart listed a roughly 55-ounce box of Arm & Hammer Super Washing Soda for about $5.38. That price does not yet suggest the product is entering a price crisis. What matters more is whether you can find the exact product at a store near your home. If the place where you usually buy it only has one option left or no longer carries it in the store, that is when a product still exists, but starts becoming less convenient to buy. If your family has never used washing soda, there is no need to buy it just because you are worried about a shortage. But if this is a product you use regularly, keeping one open box and one backup box is a reasonable way to prepare. Washing soda has not disappeared. But the fewer local options a product has, the more reason regular users have to prepare before the last box at home runs out. 10. Regular household ammonia. Regular household ammonia is still being sold, but it increasingly has to compete with pre-mixed cleaners that are easier to use. The reason is not just convenience. With ammonia, using it incorrectly can create serious risks. Most importantly, never mix ammonia with chlorine bleach. This combination can create dangerous fumes that cause severe irritation to the eyes and respiratory tract. When using it, follow the directions on the bottle, keep the area well ventilated, and avoid breathing in the fumes. Ammonia can be used for certain cleaning tasks according to the label, but it is not suitable for every surface. And ammonia should not automatically be considered a disinfectant just because it has a strong smell. This is exactly where pre-mixed products have an advantage. Instead of buying a basic chemical and deciding where to use it, consumers can immediately choose a bottle clearly labeled for glass, kitchens, or bathrooms. The convenience here does not just save time, it also reduces the chance of misuse. As for price, at the time of checking, Walmart listed a 64-ounce bottle of great value clear ammonia for about $2.12. That price does not yet suggest ammonia is rising sharply in price or facing a nationwide shortage across the United States. What matters more is whether it can be found at each individual store. When most of the aisle is devoted to pre-mixed products, regular ammonia may have only a few options left or may not be available at some locations. For people who still use it regularly, that may mean checking another store or ordering it online. If ammonia cannot be found, the family can still use cleaning products clearly labeled for each specific task. What is being lost is not the ability to clean the home. What is being lost is a basic, low-cost, flexible option that requires the user to clearly understand its safety limits. So if the family has never used ammonia, there is no need to buy it just because of fear of a shortage. If this is a product you still use regularly, one backup bottle is reasonable. Ammonia is not losing value because it can no longer do the job. It is losing its advantage because pre-mixed products require users to make fewer decisions, and with a chemical that can be dangerous when used incorrectly. That is a very significant advantage. 9. Traditional powdered laundry detergent. Traditional powdered laundry detergent is still very useful. But there is one thing many people often misunderstand. A bigger box does not necessarily mean each load costs less. To find the real value, look at the number of loads listed on the package. At the time of checking, Tide Powder Original, 129 ounces, labeled for about 113 loads, cost around $24.94. Based on the number of loads on the label, the cost comes to about 22 cents per load. Meanwhile, Tide Liquid Original, 125 ounces, labeled for about 100 loads, cost around $19.94, or nearly 20 cents per load. This is not a test of which type cleans better. Prices can also change by store and over time. But this calculation shows something important. Powdered detergent is not automatically cheaper just because it is the traditional form. The real advantage of powder is the ability to control how much you use. Users can adjust the amount of powder for small loads, large loads, or how dirty the clothes are, instead of relying on a pre-measured dose. Powder also comes in dry form, so it does not carry a large amount of water like liquid detergent. But in return, users have to measure the correct amount. Using too much, or using an amount that is not right for the machine and wash cycle, can cause the powder to dissolve poorly or leave residue behind. And if the box is regularly exposed to moisture, the powder can clump together. That is why a box bought at a good price may no longer be a bargain after months of improper storage. There is currently no evidence that powdered laundry detergent is in short supply across the United States. What shoppers may find is fewer options at some stores, while liquid detergent and laundry pods come in more varieties. If the family depends on a specific type of powder, it is worth checking availability before the current box is almost empty. If powdered detergent cannot be found, liquid detergent or laundry pods are still suitable alternatives for many families. What is mainly lost is the ability to adjust a dry product yourself for each load. So do not buy multiple boxes just because they are on sale. Look at the price per load, consider how much the family uses, and only keep a backup amount that can be stored dry and rotated regularly. With powdered detergent, the box does not determine how much you save. The way you use it and the actual number of loads do. 8. Regular unscented chlorine bleach. Regular chlorine bleach is still a very useful product, but it is also one of the easiest products for shoppers to choose incorrectly. 2 bottles labeled bleach do not mean they are used the same way. The unscented type is commonly used for certain laundry and cleaning tasks according to the directions on the label. The important thing is for shoppers to check the correct concentration, purpose, and directions for each bottle. The most common mistake is buying based on the color of the bottle or the name on the front. One bottle may be regular bleach. Another may be a low splash, scented, or thicker formula. Similar prices also do not mean they serve the same purpose. At the time of checking, Walmart listed a 121-ounce bottle of great value concentrated liquid bleach for about $6.53, while the low splash version in the same size was about $6.12. The price difference is only a few dozen cents, but that is not a reason to choose the cheaper bottle. The real value lies in whether that bottle is right for the exact job you need it for. Before using it, read the ingredients, concentration, suitable surfaces, dilution instructions if provided, and the amount of time the product needs to work. Do not take the directions from the old bottle and apply them to the new one just because they look alike. Another mistake is thinking that stronger bleach is always better. It is not. Using the wrong amount, or using it on the wrong surface can damage materials, fade fabrics, or keep the product from working as expected. And there is one warning that should never be ignored. Do not mix chlorine bleach with ammonia or other cleaning products. Follow the directions on the label and keep the area well ventilated while using it. Bleach is also not a product that should be bought in large quantities and stored for years. Clorox says its products generally maintain their effectiveness for about 1 year when stored properly in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. So a bottle bought cheaply today may not hold the same value if it sits in storage for too long. There is currently no evidence that bleach is in short supply across the United States. What shoppers need to pay more attention to is that the exact type they are used to may be harder to identify among the many different versions. If the regular type is not available, do not simply grab the bottle next to it just because it also says bleach. Buy the correct formula, use it according to the directions, and only keep an amount the family can rotate through. With bleach, the most expensive mistake is not paying a few dozen cents more. The most expensive mistake is buying the wrong type and then using it as if every bottle were the same. 7. Specialty light bulbs. Specialty light bulbs are still very easy to buy incorrectly because a bulb that looks like it fits may not actually be right for the appliance. Just one small mismatch can make the bulb completely useless. For bulbs used in ovens, refrigerators, or certain household appliances, shoppers need to check several things at once: the bulb shape, base type, voltage, wattage, and heat resistance. This is why you should not simply bring the old bulb to the store and choose one that looks similar. For example, a bulb may have the correct base but may not be able to withstand the heat inside an oven. Another bulb may provide similar brightness but use a different voltage. Just one incorrect factor is enough to make the product unsuitable. Another common mistake is confusing a 40-watt bulb with an LED bulb labeled 40-watt equivalent. With an incandescent bulb, 40 watts refers to how much electricity the bulb uses. With an LED, the words 40-watt equivalent mainly refer to a level of light similar to a 40-watt incandescent bulb, while the actual energy use is usually lower. So do not just look at the largest number on the box. Check the appliance instructions before buying. Refrigerators, microwaves, and ovens may use very different types of bulbs. With ovens in particular, the bulb must be designed for a high-temperature environment. A regular LED bulb should not automatically be treated as a replacement just because it screws into the socket. Before removing an oven bulb, disconnect the power and wait for the appliance to cool completely. As for price, at the time and in the area checked, Home Depot listed a 2-pack of Fight electric appliance bulbs for about $8.48, or about $4.24 per bulb. But a low price means nothing if the bulb is the wrong type. Original replacement bulbs or bulbs made specifically for a certain model may cost more. So the biggest mistake is not paying a few extra dollars. The biggest mistake is buying a bulb that looks close enough, then discovering it cannot be used. There is currently no evidence that specialty bulbs are in short supply across the United States. What matters more is that the exact bulb for an older appliance may be harder to find at a local store. If your appliance uses a special type of bulb, save the appliance model, bulb specifications, and part number if the manufacturer provides one. One correct backup bulb is enough. With specialty bulbs, do not buy based on appearance. Buy for the exact appliance, because one incorrect detail can make all the money you just spent meaningless. 6. Vacuum bags and filters. The vacuum cleaner is more than 10 years old and still runs well. The motor is still strong. But then you take the last bag out of the box and discover a problem. The machine has not broken. What may disappear first is the supply that helps it continue working properly. That is the gap between the lifespan of an appliance and the commercial lifespan of its accessories. Bags and filters are often designed for specific vacuum lines. Kenmore currently lists Type Q HEPA bags for a specific list of canister models. Type O is made for a different group of upright models. A bag that looks almost identical may not seal properly as designed. Filters should not be purchased just because they seem to fit, either. If the size or installation method is incorrect, the filtration system may not work as the manufacturer intended. The important point is not that vacuum bags are in short supply across the United States. There is currently not enough strong evidence to say that. The more realistic risk appears when a machine lasts longer than the time its accessories remain a priority at local stores. When new models appear, older part numbers may have to be found through the manufacturer's website, a parts supplier, or an online seller. But without data on a specific model, this should not be assumed to happen with every older machine. The price also shows why knowing the exact part number matters. At the time of checking, Kenmore directly listed a 6-pack of Type Q HEPA bags, part number 53292, for $24.99, with the compatible models clearly listed. This is a current reference price, not evidence that accessory prices are rising. If the correct bag or filter is no longer available at a nearby store, the machine may still be perfectly good but difficult to maintain as designed without the right supplies. So before the last box runs out, write down the vacuum model, bag number, and filter number. Then check the manufacturer's website and a few reliable sellers. If the same part number starts appearing from only a few sources, but you still plan to use the machine for years, keeping a reasonable backup supply may make sense. There is no need to buy too much. Keep the supplies clean, dry, and stored according to the manufacturer's instructions. The machine may last for more than a decade, but the ecosystem of accessories around it may not last that long. 5. Vacuum sealer bags. You have just finished dividing up a large batch of meat after a weekend shopping trip. The vacuum sealer is working well, but the bag roll suddenly runs out halfway through. You buy a replacement box at the store, bring it home, cut it to the right size, but the machine does not remove the air or seal it as expected. That is when one thing becomes clear. Shoppers are not just buying a machine. They are choosing an entire ecosystem of supplies that must be purchased repeatedly. There are two very different types of systems. Some machines use bags or rolls with a structure that is compatible with multiple brands. Nesco, for example, states that its vacuum sealer rolls can be used with Nesco and many other brands of machines. This is a relatively open system. Users have more places to buy from and can compare prices more easily. But some systems depend heavily on proprietary accessories. FoodSaver says the FM1100 model is only compatible with the zipper bags designed for that system. Zwilling Fresh and Save also uses valve bags and accessories supplied or approved by the company. This is the important difference. An open system allows users to switch supply brands if prices or availability change. A closed system makes the value of the machine more dependent on whether the correct bags, valves, or accessories remain easy to buy. So the words vacuum bag on the package are not enough. Shoppers need to know whether the machine uses edge seal rolls, pre-cut bags, valve bags, or a specific textured surface. An incompatible bag may not remove air properly or create a consistently airtight seal. The true cost of the system is also not in the price of the machine. Nesco currently lists two 11 by 19.7 foot rolls for about $23.99. while a pack of 50 pre-cut gallon bags costs about $29.99. These are current prices, not evidence that prices are rising. What matters is this: how many times will you have to buy those supplies over the life of the machine? Before buying backups, check the user manual and the manufacturer's support page to determine whether the machine uses an open system or depends on proprietary accessories. If it uses rolls compatible with multiple brands, you have more options. If the machine requires valve bags or manufacturer-approved accessories, the level of dependence will be higher. There is no need to buy too many. Keep enough on hand and store the bags away from high heat, sharp objects, and places that could damage the layers of material. The price of the machine is only the first expense. The real cost is in the bags you have to buy again and again. 4. Canning jar lids. The tomatoes in the garden ripen almost all at once. There are already dozens of clean jars on the kitchen table. The screw bands are neatly arranged, and the entire afternoon has been set aside for preserving food. Then you open the box of lids. Only 6 are left. That is when one tiny part becomes the bottleneck for the entire process. With a 2-piece mason jar system, 3 things need to be distinguished: the glass jar, the screw band, and the flat lid that creates the seal. The National Center for Home Food Preservation says mason jars can be reused many times if they remain undamaged. Screw bands can also be reused if they are not bent or badly rusted. But a standard flat metal lid must be new for each canning session because the sealing material has already been molded after its first use. That creates a very simple calculation. You may own 100 jars and 100 screw bands, but if you only have 50 suitable new lids, you do not have enough complete lids for 100 jars. The lids must also be the correct size. Ball currently sells regular mouth and wide mouth as 2 separate sizes. A regular mouth lid does not become a wide mouth lid just because you are short on the type you need. This is also why regular storage lids should not be confused with lids designed for canning. Ball sells plastic or steel lids for storage, but clearly states that they are not intended for canning. As for price, at the time of checking, Walmart listed a 12-pack of Ball regular mouth lids and bands for about $6.97. Prices may change by time, location, and package size, so this is only a current reference price, not evidence that lid prices are rising. There is also currently no evidence that canning lids are in short supply across the United States. But this is an item where being short by even a small amount can immediately limit your ability to use the jars you already own. If you actually can food, count your regular mouth and wide mouth jars separately. See how many lids you really use in one season. Then buy backups based on that number. If you have never canned before, do not buy hundreds of lids just because you see them on a stockpiling list. Canning food requires tested safety methods. The quantity of supplies does not replace skill and reliable guidance. 100 jars do not give you capacity for 100 batches if you only have 50 suitable lids. In a system, sometimes the smallest part determines its entire capacity. 3. Distilled water. A person pushes a cart toward the bottled water section. Spring water is still there. Purified water is still there. But the space for distilled water is empty. For some families, this is not just about choosing the type of water they prefer. Distilled water has had most of its dissolved minerals removed, and that matters for certain devices designed or instructed to use low mineral water. CPAP machines are an example that needs to be discussed precisely. ResMed currently makes a clear distinction between the Air 11 water tubs. The Humid Air 11 standard requires distilled water, while the Humidair 11 cleanable can use drinking quality water. So users should not take the instructions for one model and apply them to every machine. Humidifiers have another reason. The EPA notes that ultrasonic and impeller humidifiers can release minerals from water into the air as white dust. Water with a low mineral content, such as distilled water, can help reduce buildup and the amount of minerals released. What stands out about distilled water is not complicated technology. It is the rate of consumption. Someone who uses a device every day may need to buy water regularly, and a gallon of water is a heavy, bulky item with relatively low retail value. Stores have to devote significant storage space and transportation costs to a product that does not generate much revenue for each unit of volume. That can make distilled water more likely to run out locally when demand rises quickly in one area, even while other types of bottled water remain fully stocked. There is currently no reliable evidence that distilled water is in short supply across the United States. So the more reasonable warning is that local availability may fluctuate, especially for people who use the product regularly for a specific device. If your device requires or recommends distilled water, see how much the family actually uses each week, then keep a small backup supply and rotate it regularly. There is no need to turn the garage into a water warehouse, but do not wait until the last gallon to start looking for more, especially when this is a product consumed continuously rather than something replaced only once a year. The weakness of distilled water is not that it is inherently rare. The weakness is that a heavy, low-priced product used repeatedly can be difficult to restock quickly when local demand rises all at once. 2. Hearing aid batteries. The hearing aid gives a low battery warning in the middle of the morning. For someone who uses the device every day, that is not an alert that can be ignored until evening. If the battery dies within the next few hours, a conversation, an important phone call, or instructions at a medical appointment may become harder to hear right in the middle of the day. The user stops by their usual drugstore. There are still many battery packs on the hooks, but the brown size 312 they need is sold out. Yellow size 10 is still there. Orange size 13 is still there. Blue size 675 may also still be hanging there, but those batteries are not interchangeable. The 4 common hearing aid battery sizes are 10, 13, 312, and 675. Each has different physical dimensions and is usually color-coded to help shoppers identify it more quickly. So what matters is not how many battery packs the store has left, but whether the user knows exactly which size their device needs. With zinc air batteries, the way they are used is also different from regular batteries. The tab on the battery keeps air out. Once the tab is removed, the battery begins to activate. Phonak recommends waiting about 2 minutes after removing the tab before inserting the battery into the hearing aid. So the tabs should not be removed ahead of time to have them ready. Keep the batteries in their original packaging until they are needed. Proper storage also helps prevent waste. Duracell says its hearing aid batteries can be stored for up to 4 years under suitable conditions. But that does not mean buying a large quantity is always the best choice. The expiration date and each person's actual rate of use still need to be considered. And because these button batteries are so small, safety is especially important. Keep both new and used batteries away from children and pets. If a battery is swallowed, seek medical help immediately. Loose batteries should also not be stored with keys, coins, or other metal objects because they may short-circuit. There is currently no evidence that hearing aid batteries are in short supply across the United States. The more realistic risk is that the correct size may sell out locally, while other sizes remain available. If you or a family member uses hearing aids every day, write down the device model and battery size, check the expiration date, Then keep a reasonable backup supply that can be rotated. Because with a battery this small, what matters is not the value of the battery itself. What matters is the ability to keep hearing, communicating, and staying independent in the things that happen every day. 1. The correct water filter. Cartridge for your model. The replacement light comes on. The pitcher, faucet, or under-sink filtration system is still working normally. But now, the more important question than whether the new filter fits is it actually certified to reduce the specific contaminant the family is concerned about? Filter cartridges can differ in size, connection type, materials, flow rate, capacity, and the contaminants they are certified to reduce. Two filters that look almost identical may not provide the same performance. The EPA recommends that consumers choose a filter independently certified for the specific contaminant they need to reduce. This matters when the family relies on the filtration system to address a specific issue in the water supply. NSF also clearly distinguishes between its standards. NSF ANSI 42 generally relates to claims involving chlorine, odor, and taste. NSF ANSI 53 relates to claims about reducing contaminants that affect health. So the words "compatible with" on the box do not automatically prove that the filter has the same certification and makes the same contaminant reduction claims as the original filter. Brita currently lists its Elite filter for about $19.99 and says it can be used for around 6 months under the conditions specified by the company. Zero Water also lists one filter for about $19.99, while a 6-pack costs about $89.99. These are only current reference prices, not evidence that prices are rising. A filter that costs a few dollars less but does not have the appropriate certification for the contaminant the family needs to reduce may not provide the same value, even if it fits. So when it is time to replace the filter, check 3 things: the system model, the replacement schedule, and the filter's specific certification. Then compare that information with the manufacturer's website or a reliable certification database before choosing a replacement. If the family uses the system regularly, keeping enough filters for 1 or 2 replacement cycles is reasonable. There is no need to buy years' worth of supplies just because of fear of a shortage. And one important limitation should be remembered. A filter cartridge does not make every water source safe to drink. Its effectiveness depends on the system's design, the contaminant being reduced, and how the filter is used. The concern is not always an empty shelf. Sometimes the product is still available, but the exact type, model, or size you need is becoming harder to find. So do not buy large quantities just because you are afraid of a shortage. Check the supplies your family actually uses. Write down the model, size, and replacement schedule. Then keep a reasonable backup supply. Being well prepared does not mean owning more. It means knowing exactly what in your home will be difficult to replace when you need it.